I want to raise a question, and it is a delicate question. Is it possible that Donald Trump's erratic kidnapping of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is not because of narco trafficking? It is not because of authoritarianism. It is not because of regime change. It is not because of oil, but it is because of Trump's cognitive decline, which includes disinhibition, aggressiveness, anger, instability, and serious impulsiveness. Let's just go through the press conference that Donald Trump gave with very poorly thought out justifications and plans. You can tell Trump has no idea what's going to happen here. And I want to just propose to you that this may be more reflective not of Trump's foreign policy perspective, but more of Donald Trump's decline. Trump asked, would you consider putting U.S. troops on the ground in Venezuela? And Trump kind of goes, if we've got to do it, we've got to do it.
Mr. President, does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, you know, they always say boots on the ground. Oh, so we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it, but we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly, We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot. And we're going to make sure that this is proper. We're there.
Yeah. Donald Trump, all of a sudden, as the anti-war president, goes, what's wrong with boots on the ground? Sure. Why not? Now, I wonder if Melania will drop Barron off at the local military recruiting office if they do that. And there's a couple of reasons that Donald Trump has no problem with boots on the ground. Number one, Trump got out of serving in uniform because of a doctor's note about his ankles. And number two, Trump has a complete lack of empathy for those who do sacrifice for the country. So, of course, to Trump, boots on the ground, why not? I guess that's fine. Now, the U.S. isn't even being run properly by Donald Trump, but Trump thinks he's going to run not only the U.S., but also Venezuela. Here is Trump saying, we're going to do it for as long as we need to do it.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
Now, the only problem with this is that they kidnapped Maduro, but they left the generals, his VP, and the entire infrastructure of the regime in place. And this is where, as you listen to this, you start saying, does Trump have any idea what's going on? Is he coming up with this crap after the fact because it was a completely impulsive decision? Now, then the financial stuff starts coming up, and Trump says, we're going to take a lot of money out of Venezuela for their own benefit, of course.
It has killed a lot of people doing just that. The infrastructure is old. It's rotted. Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago, and we're going to be replacing it. And we're going to take a lot of money out so that we can take care of the country. Yeah.
For their own good, we're going to take their money. It's just, we're going to hold it for them. We're going to hold it in a lockbox. It's going to be fine, and it's going to be for their own benefit. Now, this is fascinating. The question of potentially installing Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado came up. The only problem is Trump is extraordinarily jealous of her, that she got the Nobel Peace Prize that he so desperately wants. And Trump goes, you know, she's very nice, but no, she doesn't have the respect.
Aware of the location of opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Mr. President, do you have any hesitations about Machado? Mr. President, on Monday...
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within, or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect to be the leader.
What Trump means is, I don't respect her. She didn't deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. I did. That is fundamentally what Donald Trump is saying here. Geopolitics and interrelated alliances came up. A reporter saying, you know, China has interests in Venezuela. Russia and Iran have interests there. Here is Trump's answer to that.
China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to the oil and the drugs?
And Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to give it to them. In other words, we'll be selling oil probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce.
It's funny how quickly everybody forgot about the whole drugs justification.
It's very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
Massive, massive dumps of oil. And what about the whole narco trafficking thing? Well, he doesn't really care about that. Bonus clip from the press conference. Here is the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, with the now completely Kafkaesque statement. Maduro effed around and he found out.
Justice all on full display in the middle of the night. Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance, until they didn't and until he didn't. He effed around and he found out.
There you go. Notice the painful lack of gravitas, dignity, and self-respect from Pete Hegseth. So the real reason for the invasion, for the kidnapping, for all of it, quite frankly, I don't know. But cognitive decline on behalf of Trump and the disinhibition, impulsivity, and aggression that can come with it, as good an explanation as anything else. One challenge in covering politics today is that even when outlets are reporting the same facts, they often are framing the stories really differently. And our sponsor, Ground News, is a website and app that makes those differences easy to see. What Ground News does is gather coverage of the same story from across the political spectrum and shows you where the reporting is coming from. You can see which outlets lean left, right, or center, and you can also see how reliable they are and who owns them. What I find most useful is the side-by-side headline comparison. You're looking at the same underlying facts, but it's clear how different outlets will emphasize one angle or a narrative or another. Ground News gives you a transparent way to understand bias without being told what to think. They also offer a blind spot feed, which will highlight stories underreported by one side of the political spectrum, and that helps surface items that I might otherwise miss or not even hear about. You can also personalize your feed by interest, and that makes it easier to follow issues you personally care about. Go to ground.news/Pakman to get 40% off the Ground News Vantage plan, and you can also gift a subscription to a friend. The link is in the description.